seems to be unraveling. And actually, Henry, I think that some of that unraveling was occurring while the right and those that are traditionally looking at the welfare state and the impact of welfare policies on the poor missed that their own society was unraveling. And we started then seeing books from people like Pat Buchanan, I think, brought up one, said, hey guys, the death of the West. And then we saw Charles Murray say, uh-oh, guys, we're coming apart. Speak into this. Has the culture, have we missed something here, that this is not just about poor people on welfare, but that some of our traditional norms have broken down over the last 30, 50 years?
Yeah, it's been a regular movement away from the sort of traditional life with respect to family and gender roles and sexual behavior that was common in the first half of the century. It's been going on for most of the last 60 years, and whether the right is in power or not, it hasn't really stopped the trajectory of it.
Yes.
You know, the biggest thing that's happened with respect to unmarried childbearing is it has moved from being a fringe problem of the poor into being a mainstream behavior of people, just about everybody who does not have two parents with a college degree. And that's what Brad Wilcox at the University of Virginia has shown. And I've looked at international statistics. We're actually low compared to the developed world at only 40 or 45% unmarried childbearing. That would be considered a positive step by most of the countries in Western Europe.
Well, it is, but that's why, Emily, I think that the role that you play in trying to focus us on religion and the value that this brings to a society to keep it healthy is important. You've worked internationally. One of the things that we see when church life collapses is we see secularism increase, and then we see lack of marriage. Henry's exactly right. Can you speak into what you have seen? In particular, you told me one time that you came back to this country because there are 4 stages that you can go through as a society before you just really have big challenges, and that America was already in that 3rd stage. And that was one of the motivations for you coming back from doing some of your international work. Can you speak into what has happened and the role of religion? Has that impacted the reason that we're now seeing such disarray in family life, regardless of you're wealthy or poor?
Sure. Well, absolutely. Religion has a huge stabilizing force in society and also contributes to social capital and also provides the models for happy marriages and families that children need to thrive. So when you have religion being pushed out of the public square by public policy, that unfortunately makes it more difficult for children to see these role models and for religious leaders and religious communities to have an influence on the public square. So one example that's actually cited in the Joint Economic Committee's report is the way that faith-based adoption agencies and foster agencies are being discriminated against in the states because of their religious beliefs that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Right.
And they are no longer allowed to participate in foster care in some states like Michigan and Pennsylvania. And so that is actually religious discrimination, and that's actually excluding from the public square these religious groups that believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, which we know is what is best for children.
It's really best for children. In fact, data is long in what's best for children. I'm wondering also in changes in public policy, abortion. Abortion has 68 million? Come on, since Roe v. Wade, this must have an impact. Henry, is it that we're not that different from other countries, or you're saying we might be on what we consider the Western and civilized societies on the norm that it's morally acceptable to have children outside of marriage or to live a single life all of your life, but where does abortion come into some of this? I have my opinion. I'd like to hear yours.
You know, abortion has been part of the growing privatization of child rearing, of an individual's relations in sexual behavior to the society at large, and it unfortunately represents a belief that a unborn child is not a human being at a certain point of their in utero development. It strikes me that that is a false view. You know, people have held many false views about who is and who is not human throughout history, but it's par for the course that for the past 60 to 70 years, forces in developed European inspired societies have seen a breakdown in the belief in traditional religion and an increase in the belief of autonomy of the self in a way that has some relationship to the founding principles of the Enlightenment, but is actually radically different from it. And abortion is a policy expression of that.